Really scary for some people.
Yeah. So we're going to be using a couple of articles today all about how to manage driving anxiety,
Yeah.
how to maybe overcome a fear of driving.
Right.
And these articles offer a mix of tips and tricks and also some insights into like what actually causes it in the first place.
Okay, cool. I'm interested to dive in.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's get right into it. And I think one of the first things that's important to acknowledge is that driving anxiety is really common.
Oh, yeah. Super common.
Yeah.
In fact, it even has a clinical name. It's called amaxophobia.
Wow. I didn't know it had an actual, clinical term.
It's a real thing. And you know what?
It affects something like 1 in 10 adults.
1 in 10 adults.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you're one of those people who feels that anxiety, you are definitely not alone.
Absolutely not. And it's totally understandable why people feel that way.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, driving is a big responsibility.
It is a huge responsibility.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There is.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, why is driving so anxiety-provoking for some people?
Okay, let's get into it.
What do these articles say about the reasons behind it?
Well, one of the biggest things that the articles talk about is past traumatic experiences.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that could be like a car accident that you were in.
Oh, yeah.
Or even like a near miss, you know, something that really shook you up.
Right, even if it wasn't
a
full-blown accident, just something that barely rattled you.
It can really stick with you
and
make you hesitant to get behind the wheel again.
So it's almost like our brains are trying to protect us.
Right,
in a way.
Yeah, like a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trying to keep you safe.
Keeping us safe.
By making you avoid situations that
Yeah.
could potentially be dangerous.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So past trauma is one big one, but the articles also talk about
They do.
lack of confidence in driving skills.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one too.
Yeah.
Especially for new drivers.
I was going to say new drivers, it's got to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're first starting out,
Yeah.
everything feels new and unfamiliar,
Oh, yeah.
and you're still getting the hang of it.
You're not quite sure, like, if you're doing it right.
Exactly. And even for experienced drivers, certain maneuvers can trigger anxiety.
Like parallel parking.
Oh, yeah. Parallel parking is the classic one.
That one gets me.
Yeah, I think it gets everybody.
Every time, I break out into a sweat every time I have to parallel park.
Yeah, and like merging onto the freeway.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah, high-speed situations.
I have rush hour.
Yeah, exactly. Those can be really tough.
That's when it gets real.
For sure.
Yeah. So past trauma, lack of confidence. And then the articles also mention...
This is interesting. They talk about like a more general anxiety that spills over into driving.
Oh, so it's not even necessarily specific to driving.
Right.
It's just that you're already feeling anxious.
Exactly.
And then you get behind the wheel and
it's like it amplifies everything.
It just intensifies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that feeling of losing control.
Losing control.
And not just of the car, but of the situation itself.
The whole environment.
Yeah, like you're in this metal box.
Yeah.
Surrounded by other cars.
Right.
And anything could happen.
And you can't control what those other cars are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that what if thinking that takes over.
Oh, yeah.
What if I make a mistake?
What if I get into an accident?
Yeah, what if I can't handle the traffic? What if I miss my exit?
What if I get lost?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
All those what ifs.
The what ifs are what get you.
They really can.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening, it might be helpful to think about which of these reasons resonates with you the most.
Yeah, like what are your triggers?
Exactly.
Is it a past experience? Is it certain skills that make you nervous? Or is it just like a broader sense of unease behind the wheel?
Right. And I think figuring that out is a really good first step to managing those anxieties.
Like understanding where it's coming from.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Once you know the root of the problem,
Yeah.
you can start to address it.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So let's say we figured out what our triggers are. What are some things we can actually do to calm down, like when anxiety hits while we're driving?
Well, you know, one of the simplest but most effective techniques
I love those.
is focusing on your breathing.
Okay.
Yeah, it might sound basic.
It does. But tell me more.
But hear me out. Okay, I'm listening.
When we get anxious, our bodies go into that fight or flight mode.
Right.
Our heart rate goes up. Our breathing becomes really shallow.
Oh, yeah.
And we start to feel all those physical symptoms of stress.
The sweating, the shaking.
The dizziness.
Yeah, not good when you're trying to drive.
Not good at all, no.
Makes it kind of hard to focus.
Yeah, it can be really distracting and even dangerous.
Right.
But when you take deep, slow breaths
Okay.
It actually counters that stress response.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it signals to your body that things are okay.
It's like tricking your body into relaxing.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It's like hitting the brakes on that anxiety spiral
I love that.
by slowing down your breathing.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
So yeah, deep breathing is key.
Deep breathing. Oh, we're going to keep coming back to that. I have a feeling.
Oh, absolutely. It's so important.
Yeah. So deep breathing and then...
The articles also talk about fresh air.
Okay.
Yeah, rolling down the window can be surprisingly effective,
I could see that.
especially if you're feeling lightheaded or busy,
Yeah.
which are common symptoms of anxiety.
Totally. It's like when you're starting to feel that panic
Yeah.
and you just need a little bit of,
You just need to reset.
yeah, like a blast of fresh air.
Exactly. And, it's not just a psychological thing.
Oh,
There's actually a physiological reason why fresh air helps.
okay. Tell me about it.
When we get anxious, our breathing changes.
Uh-huh.
And that can actually lead to lower carbon dioxide levels in our blood.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And that can contribute to those feelings of dizziness.
So the fresh air helps to rebalance things.
Exactly. It
Right.
gets that carbon dioxide back up to where it needs to be.
Like a reset button.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. I never knew that.
It's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. So fresh air, deep breathing.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have?
Well, another simple but helpful tip
Okay.
is to adjust the temperature.
Oh, yeah. Being too hot or too cold.
Ugh, it's the worst.
Yeah. Can make you feel even worse.
Especially when you're already anxious. Yeah. So if you're feeling too hot, blast the AC.
Turn it down.
Yeah, open the windows, whatever you need to do to cool down.
Get comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling chilly, crank up the heat.
Yeah. Just find that temperature zone that makes you feel
Okay.
most at ease.
Exactly.
I like how we're talking about like really taking control of your environment. Like
Yeah.
it's not just about what's going on in your head.
Mm-hmm.
It's about like really being aware of those
Yeah.
physical things as well.
Absolutely. Your physical environment can have a huge impact on how you feel.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's interesting.
What's that?
When you consciously address those physical symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
it can actually help to take your mind off the anxious thoughts.
Oh, okay. So it's like
Yeah.
distraction technique almost.
Exactly. It's like breaking that cycle of fear
Yeah.
by focusing on something you can control.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
So we're essentially taking all of that energy
Mm-hmm.
and putting it into something productive
Right.
instead of letting it just spiral out of control.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So speaking of distractions,
Yeah.
the articles also talk about safe ways to distract yourself while driving.
I was going to ask about that. Like, is it okay to listen to music while you're driving if you're feeling anxious?
Totally. Music can be a really powerful mood booster.
I definitely have my like driving playlist,
Oh, me too.
my calming music.
Yeah, it's essential.
Yeah.
So yeah, choosing upbeat or calming music can really help.
Okay, so as long as it's not like
Right.
heavy metal, that's going to make you want to...
Exactly. You don't want to listen to anything that's going to get your heart racing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want something that's going to soothe you and calm you down.
Like smooth jazz.
Smooth jazz. There you go.
Okay, so music is good.
Yeah.
And then what about
Podcasts.
podcasts?
Yeah, podcasts can be great too.
I was going to say I love listening to podcasts in the car.
Me too. It's a great way to pass the time
Yeah.
and keep your mind occupied.
Especially if it's like an interesting topic
Right.
that you can really get into.
Exactly. But again, you want to make sure it's something you enjoy.
Yeah.
You don't want to listen to anything that's going to stress you out.
Yeah, don't listen to like true crime.
Yeah, no true crime.
If it's going to make you nervous.
Yeah, stick to something light and fun.
Yeah, or educational.
Yeah,
Learn something new.
exactly.
So music podcasts, what other kinds of distractions did they mention?
Well, they talk about,
Or is that pretty much it?
those are the main ones, but they also talk about
Okay.
the importance of managing those physical symptoms.
Okay.
Yeah, because even if you can kind of calm your mind down,
Mm.
sometimes those physical sensations can still be really intense.
Right. It's like your body has a mind of its own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive into some tips for dealing with those physical symptoms
Awesome. I'm ready.
after a quick break.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, so we're back and we were talking about those pesky physical symptoms of driving anxiety.
Yeah, those physical symptoms, those can be tough.
Oh, they can be brutal.
Yeah.
It's like your body decides to betray you at the worst possible time.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to stay calm and collected, but then your heart's racing.
Right.
Your palms are sweating.
Your hands are clammy.
Yeah, it makes it even harder to focus on driving.
Exactly. And the articles actually had some really good tips for dealing with those physical symptoms.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad because I was
Yeah.
wondering about that. Like, what can you actually do in the moment?
Right, like when you're already behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start with dizziness or lightheadedness.
Oh, okay. That's a big one for me.
Yeah, that's a common one.
Yeah.
And it can be really scary because it's like,
Yeah, you feel like you're going to pass out?
exactly, like the world is tilting
Yeah.
and you're going to lose your balance.
Not ideal when you're in a moving vehicle.
No, not at all. But remember how we talked about fresh air?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's even more important when you're feeling dizzy.
Okay.
Rolling down the window can often provide almost instant relief.
So it's like that blast of fresh air kind of shocks your system back into.
Kind of, yeah. It helps to regulate your breathing
Okay.
and get that carbon dioxide back up to where it needs to be.
So it's not just about like
Right.
feeling refreshed. It's actually,
That's logical.
yeah, there's a real science behind it.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So fresh air for dizziness.
Yeah.
What about clammy hands?
Oh, clammy hands. That's another classic one.
The worst.
Yeah. It's like your hands are made of ice.
Yeah, and you can't grip the steering wheel.
Right. It's like you're going to lose control.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
So for this one, believe it or not,
Okay.
simply shaking your hands and arms can help.
Really?
Yeah, it sounds silly,
I was going to say.
but it really does work.
Okay, I'll try anything at this point.
Yeah, it's like you're just releasing that tension.
Yeah, like getting the blood flowing.
Exactly.
Okay, so shake it out, shake it out.
Shake it out.
All right, what about trembling or shaking?
Oh, yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, like your whole body just feels jittery.
Yeah, like you're vibrating.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, movement can help.
Okay.
Even if you can't pull over right away,
Ah.
try gently flexing and releasing your muscles.
Oh, okay, so it's like that same idea of like,
Yeah.
the blood flowing.
Exactly. And it also helps to kind of redirect that nervous energy.
Yeah, instead of letting it take over,
Right.
you're like, okay, we're going to use this energy
Yeah.
to do something productive.
Exactly.
Flex those muscles.
And of course, deep breathing always helps to calm those shaky nerves.
Deep breathing, it's like the magic cure.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, all right, so we've got shaking, clammy hands, dizziness. What about overheating?
Oh, yeah, the anxiety sweats.
Oh, yeah.
Those are no joke.
No, they are not.
It's like your internal thermostat goes haywire.
Yeah, it's like you're suddenly in a sauna.
Exactly.
And thankfully, the solution for this one is pretty simple.
Yeah, it is.
Adjust the temperature.
Yeah, blast the AC.
Crack those windows.
Open the windows, whatever you need to do to cool down.
Get some air circulating. Yeah, I like how we're really emphasizing that it's okay to take those moments to like
Yeah,
adjust your surroundings.
absolutely.
Like if you need to pull over for a minute
It's okay.
and just like take some deep breaths, cool down,
Yeah.
get yourself comfortable, that's totally fine.
Prioritize your well-being.
Yeah, exactly.
And the same goes for if you're feeling chilly.
Oh, yeah.
Don't hesitate to crank up the heat.
Yeah, sometimes I get cold when I'm anxious.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, adjust the temperature. Find that sweet spot.
Whatever makes you feel most comfortable.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about breathing fresh air, temperature control movement.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this next one might sound a little counterintuitive,
It does a little bit.
but the article suggests that we should actually try to focus on the physical sensations
Oh,
that we're
interesting.
experiencing.
Like lean into it.
Yeah, instead of trying to ignore it,
Yeah, that's interesting.
which is what I would normally do.
Right, like I just want this to go away.
Yeah, make it stop.
Yeah. But the articles say that actually makes it worse.
Really?
Yeah, when we try to ignore or push away those sensations, we actually give them more power.
It's like that thing where if you tell yourself not to think about something,
Right.
it's all you can think about.
Exactly.
Okay, so instead of fighting it,
We should
embrace it.
acknowledge it, observe it without judgment,
Okay.
and even try to describe it to yourself.
So like if my hands are clammy, I might say to myself, okay, my hands feel cold and damp.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable, but it's just a sensation.
Right.
Doesn't mean anything is wrong.
Exactly. And as you practice this, you'll find that those sensations start to lose their power over you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they become less scary and less distracting.
Okay, so it's like you're taking control by simply acknowledging what's happening.
Right.
Okay, I kind of get it.
It's a form of mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
Yeah. That can be incredibly helpful for managing anxiety, not just while driving,
Oh, wow.
but in all areas of life.
So it's like a life skill,
It is.
not just a driving tip.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
Breathing distractions,
Yeah.
temperature control movement, and even like befriending those physical sensations.
It's like we're building a toolkit
Yeah,
for calming ourselves down in those moments of driving anxiety.
yeah, I like that, the toolkit analogy.
And you know what's really cool?
What's that?
We're not just reacting to anxiety when it arises.
Oh,
We can actually be proactive and take steps to minimize anxiety before we even get in the car.
oh, okay, so like prevention is key.
Exactly.
And that's what we're going to talk about next. Those pre-trip prep strategies.
Oh, I love a good prep strategy.
Me too.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, so these strategies are all about setting ourselves up for a smoother, less stressful driving experience.
Okay, I am so ready for this.
Let's dive in.
So we've talked about how to calm down in the moment, like when you're already feeling anxious.
Right.
But you mentioned pre-trip prep.
I want to hear about that.
Okay, so pre-trip prep is all about minimizing surprises.
Okay.
Things that can throw you off balance.
Yeah, like unexpected detours.
Exactly. Like if you hit traffic and you're already running late,
Oh, yeah.
that's going to make your anxiety skyrocket.
Yeah, that's going to make me panic for sure.
Right. So the more we can reduce uncertainty, the less anxious we're likely to feel.
Okay, so it's all about like feeling prepared.
Exactly. Being in control.
Yeah.
Knowing what to expect.
Okay.
So one of the simplest things you can do is map out your route in advance.
Okay, this is a big one for me.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Because if I don't know where I'm going,
oh yeah,
my anxiety goes way up.
It's like you're venturing into the unknown.
Yeah, and I start thinking about all the what ifs.
Right, what if I get lost? What if I miss my turn?
What if I end up in like a totally different state?
Exactly, it can be really overwhelming.
Yeah.
But thankfully we have GPS.
We do.
Mapping apps.
Oh, yeah. Thank goodness for technology.
Yeah. Right. You don't have to memorize every street name.
No.
But just having a visual sense of where you're going can really help.
Like even if you don't know the exact turns, you just have like a general idea of...
Right. Like I know I need to head north.
Yeah.
And then turn left at the big park.
Yeah.
Something
That's
like that.
something like that.
And while you're at it, check the traffic.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Knowing if there are any accidents or construction can help you adjust your route.
Or just like mentally prepare.
Exactly.
If you know it's going to be a long drive.
Right. It's all about setting realistic expectations.
Okay. So map out your route, check traffic. What else?
Give yourself extra time.
Oh, yeah. That's crucial.
It is so important.
Rushing is the worst.
It's the enemy of calm.
Yes.
So whether it's traffic or you just need a minute to gather yourself before you start driving, that extra time can make all the difference.
It's like a buffer.
Exactly.
It's like a little cushion of safety.
I love that, a cushion of safety. It's like instead of I have to get there now, it's I'm going to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to get there when I get there.
Exactly.
What about weather?
Oh, yeah. Weather can definitely be a trigger.
Yeah. Driving in a storm is not fun.
It is not fun. So check the forecast.
Right.
If you know it's going to be raining or snowing, give yourself even more extra time.
Okay. Yeah, slow it down.
Exactly. And if the conditions are really bad, it's okay to postpone the trip.
Don't risk it.
Exactly. Safety first.
And what about, like, the car itself?
Oh, yeah. Car maintenance is important, too.
Okay.
Make sure your car is in good working order. You don't want any unexpected breakdowns.
Oh, gosh, no. That would be my nightmare.
Yeah, that would definitely send your anxiety through the roof.
Yeah.
I would totally freak out.
Right, so check your tire pressure, oil levels, lights.
Okay.
Just do a quick check before you go.
Like a little car checkup.
Exactly. Preventative care.
Okay, I like. And finally, this one might sound a little weird.
Oh.
Take a moment for yourself before you start driving.
Oh, okay. Like a little meditation moment.
Kind of. Yeah, it could be as simple as taking a few deep breaths.
Okay.
Listening to a calming song.
Yeah.
Or just sitting quietly for a minute.
Just like centering yourself.
Exactly. It's about shifting your mindset.
Okay.
From the busyness of your day to the present moment.
So it's like creating that separation.
Yes.
Between like the stress of everything else.
Right.
And then the calm of the drive.
Exactly. And it's a reminder that you're in control.
Okay.
You have the power to create a positive experience.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's not about pretending that anxiety doesn't exist.
Right.
It's about acknowledging it.
Absolutely.
Managing it.
Yeah.
And then choosing to focus on the joy of the journey.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay. I love that.
So as you navigate the roads ahead, keep these tips in mind.
Okay.
Experiment. Find what works for you.
Yeah.
And remember, you're not alone.
Right. 1 in 10 adults experiences this.
Exactly. It's incredibly common.
Yeah.
And there are resources and support systems available.
If you need help.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't hesitate to reach out.
That's a good reminder.
So we'll leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
If you could design the perfect anxiety-free driving experience, what would it look and feel like?
Oh, I like that.
Visualize that ideal scenario, that sense of calm and confidence behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Hold on to that image and remember, you have the power to create a more positive and fulfilling driving experience for yourself.
That's awesome.
Until next time, drive safe and drive well.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.